It was a seemingly ordinary morning in Southern California. The sun was shining and the skies were clear. At Lindbergh Field in San Diego, now known as San Diego International Airport, PSA Flight 182 was preparing for a routine flight to Los Angeles. The Boeing 727, a workhorse of the domestic skies, was filled with passengers heading north, many of them commuters and business travelers. Meanwhile, a smaller aircraft, a Cessna 172, was also aloft, carrying a student pilot and an instructor. They were on a training exercise, their smaller plane a stark contrast to the much larger PSA jet. Both flights were operating under visual flight rules, meaning that pilots were primarily responsible for seeing and avoiding other aircraft. Air traffic control provided guidance, but the clear skies and good visibility placed a significant burden on the pilots to maintain safe separation. Neither crew could have known that their paths were about to intersect with tragic consequences. At 9:01 a.m., the unthinkable occurred. The Cessna 172, for reasons that would later become the focus of intense scrutiny, descended into the path of the oncoming PSA Flight 182. The larger jet, traveling at over 200 miles per hour, slammed into the smaller Cessna. The impact, heard for miles around, was catastrophic. The Cessna was instantly destroyed, its wreckage scattering across the landscape below. The Boeing 727, mortally wounded, plunged towards the earth. The impact, when it came, was devastating. The plane crashed into a residential neighborhood, instantly killing everyone on board and 7 people on the ground. Houses were flattened, debris scattered for blocks. The normalcy of that September morning was shattered, replaced by the horrific sights and sounds of a major aviation disaster. The investigation into the crash of PSA Flight 182 was one of the most extensive in aviation history. The National Transportation Safety Board, or NTSB, took the lead, painstakingly piecing together the events that led to the disaster. The wreckage of both planes was carefully examined, and the black boxes containing cockpit voice recordings and flight data were analyzed. Investigators interviewed witnesses, reviewed radar data, and even used computer simulations to reconstruct the moments leading up to the collision. The investigation revealed a series of missteps and miscommunications that contributed to the accident. It was determined that the Cessna 172 had inadvertently entered the airspace of PSA Flight 182. A radar alert had been issued, but it was either not seen or not acted upon by the air traffic controllers. Furthermore, there was confusion between the crews of the 2 aircraft and the controllers, with evidence suggesting that a misheard word may have played a role. The NTSB concluded that the probable cause of the accident was the failure of both crews to see and avoid each other, compounded by inadequacies in air traffic control procedures. The 1978 San Diego mid-air collision was a watershed moment for aviation safety. In the aftermath of the disaster, the Federal Aviation Administration, or FAA, implemented sweeping changes aimed at preventing similar tragedies. One of the most significant changes was the mandate for all commercial aircraft to be equipped with Traffic Collision Avoidance Systems, or TCAS. TCAS, using radar technology, provides pilots with visual and audible alerts when another aircraft is in dangerous proximity, allowing them to take evasive action. In addition to TCAS, the FAA also made significant changes to air traffic control procedures. These included improved training for controllers, clearer communication protocols, and the establishment of Terminal Radar Approach Control Facilities, or TRACONs, at major airports. TRACONs are responsible for monitoring and directing aircraft within a designated airspace around an airport, providing an additional layer of safety and reducing the workload on individual controllers. The 1978 San Diego mid-air collision, though a tragedy of immense proportions, ultimately led to a safer national airspace, a legacy that continues to protect travelers today.